New York, India's film industry is one of the most vast and varied in the world. It's really not one, but many separate industries, including Bollywood, Tollywood, and others, yet few of the country's roughly 2,000 annually produced movies ever make much of a dent with Western audiences. We have a long tradition of storytelling in India. We have probably the oldest and most colorful stories, says director S. Rajamouli. Not being able to travel across borders has been a disappointment. That has changed emphatically with Rajamouli's RRR, a 3-hour Telugu language action epic that has not only become one of India's biggest hits ever but climbed U.S. box office charts before finding an even wider audience on Netflix. For 9 straight weeks, RRR has ranked among the top 10 non-English language films on the streaming service. Dubbed in Hindi and subtitled in 15 different languages, RRR is the most popular film from India ever on Netflix, charting among the top 10 films in 62 different countries. What many have seen is a movie filled to the brim with over-the-top action sequences and sprawling dance numbers, and an energy that today's Hollywood blockbusters seldom match. Motorbikes are juggled, tigers are thrown, suspenders prove a surprisingly pliable dancing prop. The only thing too much is my producer coming in and saying, "We're crossing our budget. You need to stop somewhere." That is the only thing that will stop me. If given a chance, I will go even bigger and wilder, no doubt about it. James Gunn and Scott Derrickson, who have each helmed Marvel movies, have heaped their praise on RRR since it began streaming. The RRR success has come while Netflix is reeling from subscriber loss and a stock decline, a downturn that has thrown its movie model into debate. But one less disputable aspect of Netflix's platform is its ability to foster non-English global hits. Theatrical first movies like the South Korean Best Picture-winning Parasite have already toppled what director Bong Joon-ho has called the 1-inch barrier of subtitles. "Frankly, I didn't expect this kind of reception from the West," says Rajamouli. "In the country, and across the Indian diaspora all over the world, is what we expected." "I always thought that Western sensibilities are different from my kind of films. RRR stands for Rise, Roar, Revolt, but it also refers to Rajamouli and his 2 stars, N.T. Rama Rao Jr. and Ram Charan. They're each from movie star dynasties that have previously been more like rivals. This is Charan and Rao's first film together, which is a little like a meeting of Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, if they were also the sons of Marlon Brando and James Dean. Since being elected in 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emboldened India's Hindu majority, sometimes at the expense of its Muslim minority. Rajamouli, 48, has risen as one of the country's biggest name directors over the same time period. He launched his 2-part Bahubali epic in 2015. Its 2017 sequel ranks as the country's biggest box office smash. Bahubali was a Telugu triumph that signaled that Tollywood in India's south had perhaps surpassed Bollywood as the country's top movie factory. In RRR, the most expensive Telugu film ever made with a budget of $72 million, Rajamouli is juggling both Telugu traditions and Bollywood song and dance aesthetics in what Meta considers a pan-Indian movie. Muslim characters appear, although not in primary roles. RRR in this way may not be so different from American blockbusters. This summer's top film in the US, Top Gun: Maverick, also doesn't skimp on muscular jingoism. Rajamouli has heard the critics but disagrees with their interpretations. Personally, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in any religion. But I understand the power of spiritualism. For me, spiritualism is an emotion. And I write stories filled with emotions. Surely, many of the cultural references and connections in RRR will sail right over the heads of most Western viewers. But the sheer verve of its filmmaking isn't getting lost in translation, and that may mean more cultural crossovers for Tollywood and India to come. India cinema has had a different life and cycle of its own. If we keep an open mind, we can see this as the arrival of something, says Meta. Indian or Telugu cinema might keep it up, or this might be a one-shot thing. Hess now often asked about whether he'd ever want to make a Hollywood movie or a Marvel one. RRR, though, hints more at Western audiences coming to Indian films than vice versa. And Rajamouli's focus is in making Indian films for India and beyond. Because of the success of RRR with Western audiences, I am trying to make a film for the entire world, not just India, says Rajamouli. But I wouldn't try to locate Western sensibilities and try to match up and change my story according to that. I think that would never work. Follow AP Filmed writer Jake Coyle on Twitter at http://twitter